Hello and welcome to round 2 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast. I'm Catherine Haleko and I'm here with Terry Morrow.
Hello.
Usually on this podcast we talk about parenting issues, but once a week Terry and I like to get together to discuss TV, movies, books, and other entertainment topics because it's nice to talk about something other than parenting for a change. So this week we are continuing our catch-up with the series Veronica Mars with the accompanying podcast Veronica Mars Investigations. But first, our other news show, which is actually new to everyone in the world, not just us, Zoey's Extraordinary Playlist. So this week's extraordinary thing was Zoey's extraordinary boss, Lauren Graham, who... when she sang, Katy Perry did not sound like a tiger that was roaring.
Yeah.
She sounded a little weak, I gotta say.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this was the episode focused on Lauren Graham and her jerky husband, and how she can't get no satisfaction.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. So Zoey heard the song, and then she kept hearing it even when she wasn't around her boss, which is a new thing.
Right.
This has not been the way it's worked so far.
We are learning about the powers or whatever it is.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like it needs to be consistent. And then she goes and... she tries to talk to her boss and help her boss, and it seems like it helped, and she doesn't hear the song anymore, but yet she's saying, well, I just don't feel like I'm done, and we're all supposed to be, well, like, why not? I mean, I don't know. It's, if she gets these... when she hears a song, she knows, okay, I need to help someone. I need to help this person.
Yeah.
Well, but then now I just feel like I have to help this person. And it's no longer attached to the song. You know what I mean?
Right. And I just, I feel bad being critical of it because it's, such a heartfelt show, obviously. Mm-hmm. What exactly are her qualifications to help people?
Right. Yes.
Is she getting some supernatural assistance? Mm-hmm. It just seems like why her? Possibly we'll find this out.
Comes great responsibility.
I don't so much feel like she has I guess she has the great power of finding out when people are unhappy, but...
Right. But then what? Exactly.
Yeah, I'm just not sure why she is the person to help. But perhaps we shall get more into that as we find out. As the storyline just becomes more and more complex. But I was thinking while I was watching this episode how last week you said that you like it better when it's people we know that are singing. And that seemed right at the time. But I gotta say this week, I missed the random civilians putting on a production number with dancing and joy.
Yeah, I mean, you got a little bit of that with Jesus Christ Superstar.
We did, but just a smidge.
Right. And
we got the marching band playing Satisfaction, which I'm a marching band person, so that was cool. But there wasn't so much in the way of like big choreographed production numbers. And I missed it. I have to say I missed it, even though this was all mostly people that we knew singing about things that are serious. I mean, you just knew that Zoe's mom had a number coming on, but that song is not easy to sing, and it just seemed very low, maybe a little bit out of her range, and it just didn't pack the oomph that the songs her dad does have, which... makes me feel disloyal to Mary Steenburgen, who was wonderful. I don't think it was her fault. I think it was just, as soon as she started singing that song, it's like, oh, I know this song, and this is not a song I would have picked for really anybody at all to sing, much less somebody who is not necessarily known as a vocalist. Not that she has a bad voice, just it's not. Right. It just didn't deliver as much of a punch as it might have.
Well, and that's also how I felt about the Katy Perry.
Yes. Or
Lauren Graham was singing it.
Satisfaction, or, she did fine tunefully, but it just, there was not, I don't know why there wasn't much of a punch to any of those songs this time. Mm-hmm. And I think you got to have some of that.
Yeah.
You could have divided these up between 2 episodes and put a big dancing, singing production number, and maybe it wouldn't have been as noticeable. So
like you said, make it a half-hour show.
Exactly. Yes. I continue to say, split those 2 into 2 things. Make them 2 half-hour show. Her Extraordinary Boss and then Her Extraordinary Mom.
Right.
But it threw all of the attention onto Zoe figuring out things, which is not as interesting as Mandy Moore choreography. I'm sorry. Right. It's really not. So, this was a little bit of work, I thought, to get through. So, although, Jane Levy is just doing everything she can to sell this, and she has enormous charm, and you will just go with her even though this isn't really working, but darn, she's cute. She is doing the acting equivalent of tap dancing her little heart out to make this thing work. So you gotta respect that. But at some point, that's not going to be enough. Maybe not yet.
Yeah.
But production numbers. Production numbers are the key.
Please bring them.
When the plot gets a little bit too, you need singing and dancing. Stat.
There you go.
That's what I'm here for.
That's what you're here for.
Oh, well, next week. We'll see what happens next.
We'll see what happens next week with Zoe's Extraordinary Neighbor.
We will keep watching. We are not discouraged, but this one was less fun. I feel like I am typing out lemonade on a computer screen while Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist is doing everything it can for me and just wants to hear some words, some sweet words, some appreciation, and I'm taping lemonade. But you know what? Lemonade is delicious.
Yes. That was funny.
It was.
In the grocery store.
Yes, that was. I was expecting it was going to be like viral and she was going to see her mom on her phone or something like that. And nope. So apparently the lemonade stealing girls don't have so much of a social media following.
Yeah, even though they were videoing.
Yes. Zoe's Extraordinary Social Media Disaster will be season 2. Our podcast is sponsored today by Best Fiends, the puzzle app that I am playing while watching TV and while pretending to do work and, while podcasting. Y'all talk. Don't mind me. Got slugs to squash.
It's so fun to see how the game becomes more challenging as you level up. I am now on level 130.
And Best Fiends makes travel a lot more fun as well. I made it up to level 140 on a recent flight to Vancouver.
Wow, you guys. I've only made it up to level 80, and it's getting harder, but I feel like the game kind of takes pity on you and makes sure you don't get stuck on any level for too long. It's like the bugs have my back.
I also love how the bugs dance and cheer for you after you win a level. Thanks, guys.
Yes.
And those extra little prizes on the side help me power those bugs up to level 13 now.
We got some powerful bugs. bugs.
Nice to have them on a screen instead of like in your kitchen.
So engage your brain with fun puzzles and collect tons of cute characters. Trust me, with over 100 million downloads, this 5-star rated mobile puzzle game is a must-play.
Download Best Fiends free on the Apple App Store or Google Play.
That's friends without the R. Best Fiends.
So this week on Veronica Mars, the title of the show was Meet John Smith.
Yes.
And the little case of the week was this freshman kid who wanted to, get close to Veronica. So he hired her to find his long-lost father, who he actually thought was dead, but he thought that he would get to hang out with Veronica if he hired her for the job.
Mm-hmm.
And dun dun dun, he was not dead.
Nor was he a he in the end.
Exactly. Yeah. But here's the thing I don't understand, and they don't think they explained this in the podcast either. This dad's name was John Smith. So, hard to find.
Right.
So Veronica came up with this idea to send letters to all the John Smiths in the region and say that this kid, Justin, had won some kind of scholarship. And her plan was that John Smith, even if he was a deadbeat, which this is where her plan didn't sound very effective. He would be like, well, my kid's going to win a scholarship. I'm going to write back and say, like, sorry, you have the wrong address or something.
Yes.
So using this scheme, she found a John Smith who ended up being, we think, romantically involved with Julia, who is Justin's actual dad, who has transitioned to become a woman, right?
Right.
But here's my question. Did the guy, the parole officer, who's now the boyfriend of Julia, was his name John Smith?
No.
So how did she get the letter?
Well, I think it was, I guess it was sent to the address that he lived at when he was still named John Smith. And perhaps when she saw that, she knew that had at one time been her.
Okay.
So, it is definitely one of those things where you have to let art wash over you.
Yes.
And
like everything.
I figured that lady in the video store had to be connected in some way. I thought maybe she was the wife of the new wife of the dad or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And, they wondered on the Veronica Mars investigation podcast how this kid leapt to the conclusion that the lady in the sports car was his dad.
I also wondered that.
And I see him making that connection, the way they were talking about it, in terms of, here is somebody that I know in a fancy car, in a place where, I wouldn't expect this person to be. I see him getting there eventually.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see him jumping straight to dad. I see him saying, what are you doing here? Why? You have brown eyes. Wait, what? Oh my gosh, Dad?
Yes.
But maybe they were short on time and they just cut that entire part out.
Yeah.
Rather like I do editing this podcast. Oh, too much dithering getting to that chop. But I think you need that because otherwise this kid is either that or you need to establish that this kid has a lot of friends who are trans and therefore would immediately jump to that conclusion, which I don't think was established.
Yeah, and also he definitely doesn't because he awfully, horribly called her a circus freak.
That's true, yes. So why, you could easily have slipped in that he was watching a movie that had, I don't know.
Yeah.
But for him, I don't see him jumping to that without any establishment that his head would go there, because my head didn't go there.
No way.
And I'm living in 2020 when that would be a much more obvious plot twist.
Yes.
So, yeah. There's a little shorthanding going on there.
That one went a little too quickly.
Good twist. Good, nice twist there at the end. And excellent performance by Melissa Leo, who is just adorable, and you just wanted things to work out.
Right.
And, sold it, I think, even when it didn't quite deserve to be sold.
Mm-hmm.
And also her boyfriend seemed very nice also.
And also, like, willing to listen to Veronica explain why she had broken into his garage before he beat her up with the baseball bat.
Exactly. A patient fellow. But yeah, that was interesting. But let this be a lesson to you, high school freshman boys. If you make up ruses to get in with the older hot girl, this is the sort of thing that can happen.
Right. Beware of the Pandora's box that you opened.
But, it was sweet that at the end he did call her to tell her who he is again, and so all will be well.
Right.
Except his mother is going to be really ticked.
Yeah, well,
maybe don't tell her.
She messed up, so.
Yeah. Speaking of mothers who messed up.
Leanne Mars.
Mark me also down as skeptical that Veronica is all that her mother cares about, because ain't a lot of evidence of that, lady.
Certainly not. I mean, like, give her a call on the phone once in a while. You could do that with...
I'm sure she's fine after everything in her life just fell apart. She doesn't need a mom right now. It'll be okay.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah. No. No, stranger lady who looks kind of like my mother from behind. Right. I am not going to take your word for this.
No.
Poor Veronica.
Yeah, that really stinks.
She is in the end a marshmallow, but she has to be so tough.
Yeah.
She's like a marshmallow in a s'more that is getting constantly put over the fire and melted. Yes. Yikes. This episode, the case of the week was nicely done. That was fine. The backstory part, the Lily Kane part, the stuff that was in this episode should have been last week.
Yeah.
Because they follow up on the mother in the hotel room, which I was like, last week, what?
Right.
Nobody seems to remember that this happened. And then all of a sudden this week, oh yeah.
Right. This week she says to her dad, why was mom in that hotel room?
Yeah.
Which is exactly what you said she should have said last week.
And it wouldn't have been bad for Hallucination Lily, and I am just loving how they're working Amanda Seyfried into every episode here. I didn't realize we were going to get Hallucination Lily also, and not just Flashback Lily, but rocking the bloodied head in that scene. Awesome work. But anyway, having her suggest, I guess, or Duncan's subconscious suggest to him that there was something that wasn't right could easily have come before Veronica finding finding out that Lily ran a red light after she was dead.
Right.
And it would have made more sense because that doesn't get mentioned in this episode at all.
Yeah.
So I would have thought this is one of those times when, they just changed the order of these episodes for reasons. But no, because Troy was introduced in the second episode, so you couldn't just have him here.
Right.
So it's weird. It's like something's off.
Mm-hmm.
In these early episodes, like they just tore up the scripts for the second and third episode and put them in a grab bag and then just pulled them out. And what the heck?
Yeah.
Seriously.
I mean, I think, this whole format of like a case of the week mixed in with the overarching, Lily's death and Veronica's mom's disappearance.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, the pacing of it might not be working.
Yeah. It just seems like that it would have seemed paced better if the part in this one had been reversed with the part in that one. I don't know. And did we see Veronica's counselor last week? I know she talked to her counselor who made her go take pictures.
Right. But I think that was someone else.
I think it was somebody else. I'm pretty sure I looked up on IMDb and it's Paula Marshall who played it in this episode. And it looked like this was her first episode. So that's weird. Mm-hmm. But, you go, Keith, you stealthy PI, right. Turning up at the place on the cup that she spilled right in front of you, Guy's got skills.
Yeah, game right there.
But he's so cute.
He is.
He really is. And the interaction between him and Veronica is quite adorable, I have to say.
Yes.
And although, in the whole, why aren't either of her parents more concerned about her mental health given all the stuff she's been through? The school calling him in, hey, we noticed your daughter is, struggling with these things, I feel like. You think?
Yeah. Well, and I also you know, he's like, what's wrong? And they're, oh, nothing. You know, she's a great student. And then they reel off this list of like 6 huge issues. You know, like she sleeps through class. She has an attitude. She doesn't have any friends. like, yeah, something's wrong, actually.
Yes. And whatever could be the cause of all this? Do you suppose?
Right.
I don't know. I guess, I mean, she does at the end say, you had my vote. So obviously she knows all the stuff that's gone on. Mm-hmm. So she can't say, hey, you know, Veronica's been through a very rough time and it's starting to show in this, this, and this. Right. What can we do to support her? It's like, gee, it just seemed sort of clueless to me when she was doing it. So,
well, on both of their parts, like
right.
the counselor and Keith. Being like,
yes.
I mean, he did. Obviously, he went back to apologize, although maybe that's just because he thought she was cute, not because he realized he actually did something wrong.
I guess, are we assuming that other than the sheriff who could honestly not care less, does nobody else know she was raped?
I don't
see her going home and telling her dad that, and her dad not like, you know, murdering half the male population of Neptune.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think when she tried to report it and she was treated so terribly, I think that was the end of it.
Right. So we, the audience, have a greater cause of concern for her than the people in her immediate life.
Right.
She might have told her mother.
Yeah.
Who cares about nothing but her.
Yeah.
Theoretically.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. And in other news, I think if I were Duncan having to live in that family without my sibling, I would probably jump off bleachers head first.
Yeah.
Man. His life is not fun.
It is funny, too, and they talked about this on the podcast, how, like, why do they have to set the table so that they're all sitting, like, 6 feet away from each other at the dinner table?
I know.
It is such a, like, rich people trope
thing. It is. I know. As soon as I saw that, I thought, well, this is TV shorthand for these are cold, emotionless rich people.
Yes.
And then my husband was watching it with me, and we were listening to the podcast afterwards, and he was like, the table wasn't that big. I'm like, the table was big. The table was TV trope. These are emotionally frigid rich people sized table. Yeah. And he's like, didn't. I said, well, even if you did have a table that big, if you weren't serving 10 people,
right, you
would all sit down at one end of it.
Exactly.
You know, I think that's more the point is necessary, you know, that it's a large table for 3 people and they are sitting at the furthest points from each other that they can possibly get. And, you know, the better to throw alcohol-soaked barbs, I guess. But, oh man. I think Lily got the best. Lily and the dog probably were the luckiest of that bunch.
The dog got rehomed and Lily...
We assume, although, let's be honest, those people probably just took it to the vet and said, we have no use for this animal anymore. Yes. But let's say it's at a farm now. We took him to the farm.
Right.
It's all fine.
It's all good.
Aye. Poor Duncan. I mean, I know we're supposed to hate him because he's a rich young white guy, but...
Right. He's been through some stuff, too.
He has.
Just like Veronica.
He has.
Well, next week... The episode is called The Wrath of Con, C-O-N, as in convict. So we'll find out about that.
Or con artist.
Yes.
We shall see.
So we'll talk about that. And the 4th episode of Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, which is called Zoe's Extraordinary Neighbor. And that kind of brings us to all of the characters that we have been introduced to so far. So I don't know what's going to happen after that.
We've already done Zoe's Extraordinary Barista as part of another episode. So,
and her best friend and her boss. But anyway, we'll see.
That's right. Okay.
So that'll be it for our round 2 today. Please subscribe to our Parenting Roundabout podcast so you won't miss any of our episodes. We have something new for you every weekday. As always, you can find recaps, links, and an opportunity to comment on our website at parentingroundabout.com. Bye, Terry.
Bye, Catherine.
Bye, everyone.